one of my stylists a very hard time. She had really limited hair to work with, like really limited. Short.
Like in length?
Yes.
It's short. Okay,
Like,
it's short.
Or short.
Very
Okay.
short.
And maybe not very thick?
Pixie cut.
Pixie cut.
Pixie cut hair. Okay.
Got it. Okay,
Pixie
okay.
cut would not be an exaggeration. Pixie cut.
It's not like you could do with a
Okay.
pixie cut.
Not a lot.
She kept asking for more volume, more volume. My stylist was trying so hard. She finally came up to me and she was like, I need your help. I can't. She's not liking anything I'm doing. And I was like, don't worry. I stepped in and then I, just really had to educate with a smile. Like, we are trying to give you what you want, but we have limitations, we're like limited on what we can do. And the daughter walked up and she's like, this is the mother of the bride and you guys aren't leaving until she's satisfied.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm like,
So did you put a wig on her? Like, what happened? Welcome to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events, where we share stories and strategies to turn any event or life moment into something unforgettable.
Events are wild, and the people who work in them are some of the most resilient humans on earth. If you know, you know.
So come with us behind the curtain for a look at their most memorable experiences.
As they say, the show must go on, so let's get on with the show. Welcome to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events. Today, I'm so excited to have my dear friend and event powerhouse, Michelle Wight, on the show. She's a bridal and celebrity makeup artist. She's a second-generation Mexican-American, and she is the founder of a 7-figure beauty business. I mean, I knew her when it was just kind of a side thing, kind of a bonus thing. And now it is a full-time dream job. And it's just been so amazing to watch the transformation of this. You can't do something like that without serious strategy, a whole lot of heart, and some real talent. I mean, she's got 20 years behind the brush. She's transformed brides, celebrities, and brands with her signature blend of precision and personality. And yes, I have asked her to help me transform this face many a time. From the chaos of wedding suites to the high chaos pace of commercial shoots, Michelle is all about the beauty of the behind the scenes. We're talking skin knees, hiring mishaps, and the moments that really tested her grit and shaped her success. So whether you're in the glam chair or on the grind, Michelle's got some stories for you that are real, raw, and rooted in resilience. Say that 10 times fast. Welcome, Michelle.
Welcome, Michelle.
oh my God, you guys made me sound so good.
Well, you made us look so good in our podcast photo shoot.
I'm a
True that.
with those photos. They came out
They're very fun.
so good.
They came out so good. We totally look like real podcasters.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I loved how much like content you grabbed for us, like behind the scenes while you were waiting to like powder our nose. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Amazing.
It was awesome.
And our photo shoot was done with Barbie Hull, who we have had on the show before. She was episode 3, maybe?
Not 3, but I'll link it in the show notes.
Okay.
Also one of my favorite humans of all times.
Oh, the best.
The best.
On other episodes, I've also said Barbie Hull, the best. She is. Okay, so I was not just making up that intro to be like fantastical. It is all totally true. And whether somebody knows you personally or doesn't, it is such an awesome story of how you got from, well, the Michelle of 20 years ago to the Michelle of today. What was the first moment where you thought this really isn't going to be a side hustle anymore? Like this is going to be it? Because I don't know if people can really, I mean, first, I think you're going to need to tell us how many artists work for you, how many events you guys typically do, in your busy season, which wedding season is almost all year round now. But
Yeah.
give us a sense of the scope. And when did you know that this had to be something that you committed to full time?
So now we are a team of 16 hair makeup stylists plus me.
16 plus you? That's a lot. That's more than a basketball team.
And we need more.
I don't know basketball, but I believe you.
I know. I was like, I don't know basketball. My kids, I was like trying to count really quick in my head. Yeah. It's never boring. Never the same day twice.
And how many events in a busy month, how many events are you guys doing a month?
Oh, well, for the year, we do 200 weddings. So the last 3 seasons, we've capped out at 200. But that doesn't include, like, during the week, we do tons of special events. So boudoir, branding shoots, corporate stuff. We get to work with Meta this week, which is fun, with Barbie.
Ooh.
And so we get to do like lots of other sprinkled events on the weekdays. So I would get, if I had to guess, probably like 300 events a year for special event hair and makeup.
And it's not just one person typically going to one of these events. You have multiple stylists need to be there.
Yes. Like for our Meta day, we're there 2 days and there's going to be 2 of us just because of the volume of people. Like one person can't do it. And then for wedding, there's minimum 2 stylists that go, sometimes 4 stylists go.
Oh man.
Wow.
The glam squad.
The glam squad.
When you said volume, I was thinking like volume of people's hair. I was like, oh, but I realized volume of people.
Yeah. Sometimes
depending on how big you want that hair,
right.
you know.
Yes, exactly.
Have you done makeup like your whole life, or like how did you get started pre-side hustle?
I started by accident. I loved theater. My stepdad worked in the entertainment industry. So we grew up really going, like, we were on the set, Married with Children, Saved by the Bell, like all of these sitcom shows. And
wait, you were on the Saved by the Bell set? How did I not know this about you?
I was so young. I was like 8 years old.
Do you remember the actors?
I think I remember because there's tons of photos. And so you kind of have a fuzzy memory of being on set. I remember just being fascinated that you would like go through a door and then you're just backstage somewhere. And I was like, well,
there's just nothing.
There's just no neighborhood, no anything. But that's really when like my love for production came to life, sparked to life.
So that's where it started. It started with Married with Children and Saved by the Bell. Mm-hmm. And then how did that progress?
Okay, so then when I went to college, I wanted to be a theater major. I wanted to learn everything production. And so in that, I had to take a makeup class. And I was literally 18 years old in class. We had to make ourselves old. And so I'm like drawing lines on my face, making myself look crazy. And the teacher came up behind me and she's like, do you do makeup? No. I'm like 18. I know nothing. I had like a Clinique compact in high school that my mom gave me. Like that was my extent of makeup. And
that's like basically what I have. I'm still living like a high school girl from the 90s.
With a sponge and you're just like,
a little powder puff.
Yes.
Just like the flat one. Just
a little, but she like tapped me on the shoulder and she was like, well, maybe you should. And it was literally, I was in San Diego and I forgot where I was working, but I walked myself up to the mat counter and I was like, oh, hey, I do makeup. You should hire me. Even though I didn't, my teacher just told me I was good. So it's like, oh, it must be good. And
oh my, good for you.
Once you go Mac, you don't go back.
Yep, it is so true. I stayed there for 10 years.
My gosh.
Yeah.
So did your first like time doing somebody's makeup at the mat counter, did you just like naturally know what to do? Or did you like have to watch other people? I still couldn't do makeup at the mat counter. Let's be clear.
It was very intimidating. Like very intimidating because there were some artists at the Mac counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lucky for me, they don't just throw you out there. You have to do like a 2-week, they call it Mac Basic, and they send you to school. So
okay, well, that's good. So you learn how to use like,
we're learning
how they want you to use like the products and like the mix. Okay.
color theory, brush it, like literally everything. And then they throw you out on the floor. And it's still kind of scary, but at least you feel like you're not as wobbly. You're like, okay, I know some things. So
yeah, I can.
And
fake
you get to
my
wear
way
all
around
black
this.
all the time.
yeah.
Also, can I just be like, rest in peace to their recycle program because I miss it so much. You used to be able to, Libby, you won't know this because you were using
I
your high
won't because
school
I'm still using my
compacts.
high school Clinique compact.
But after you go through 6 items, it didn't matter what it was when they're empty, whether it's a tube of lipstick or whatever, eyeshadow, you can return 6 containers and you would get a free lipstick. It was my favorite thing. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And it stopped somewhat recently. By that, I mean in the last 5 years, I think.
Yeah. Really sad. Like,
So sad.
I know. And I got to work at Mac before there was social media or YouTube or like all these people calling themselves makeup artists. I got to really be on the ground learning how to do makeup, and it was awesome.
Do you have an opinion about YouTube and TikTok makeup people?
I feel like you've got an opinion. Do you have an opinion that you'd like to share? Do you have an opinion that you're comfortable saying out loud to the public?
I will just tell you a little story. So when there was some makeup artist who became really the guy who started Morphe.
Oh,
and he influenced my oldest child. And she came up to me one day and asked, she was like, "Mom, do you follow this makeup artist?" And I didn't know who it was. And then she was like, "He's a real makeup artist. He can draw rainbows on his face." And then she showed me, and there was like, a rainbow and clouds, and it was awesome, but he was a real makeup artist.
Isn't that called face painting? Isn't that just called face painting? Like at the carnival?
Yeah, so I just have certain feelings about it ever since.
No, I get it.
I mean, it's like if I called myself a makeup artist. Just kidding. Not to diss myself too much, but people would be like, no, it's not true. They'd see right through me. Okay, so I knew you when you were, well, I've known you for a long time, but I remember when you worked at Seattle Children's, a children's hospital here in Seattle, but you were also doing beauty. And then it just kind of gradually over the years, like skewed less towards children's and more towards beauty. What was the tipping point where you made the jump to just beauty all the time?
Working in a hospital during a pandemic will really make you question your life choices. So after I was already kind of on the trajectory of I'm probably going to need to leave the hospital. It's really a lot to do both. I had started looking for a studio space. And at that time, I'm like, okay, I'm really going to need to make the leap. And then I found a studio to share in Pioneer Square. And I was like, I don't want to come to the hospital one more day of my life. I just can't. And I signed a lease and I quit. And I thought my husband was going to have a heart attack. And no.
I know. I remember because you were kind of like, you're like, I'm excited, but I'm really nervous. Like, what if this just doesn't, grow the way? And it blew up like immediately. I feel like you were slammed all the time.
Immediately. And you know what? It 100% was because of the nurses at Children's. Everybody hired me. Like when I got hired for Lauren's wedding, after that, it was like a domino of nurses for 2 years. They were hiring me. And so I don't know if it would have exploded like that if I didn't have like that huge group that just kept hiring me over and over.
It's like that word of mouth, like personal testimonial that they're given. And you did a lot of these women, they were bridesmaids in each other's weddings. So you would do them as a bridesmaid and then do them again as a bride or like vice versa.
Yeah, like 4 in a row. It was the craziest thing. It was awesome. Like so special. But
so you must have gone from just you to 16 people, like in a 2 years, 3 years.
yeah, well, I went from me to like 5 immediately because you can't take on weddings really if you don't have an assistant. And so luckily I was able to reach out to some gals that I worked with at Mac. And that was like my first pool that I was like, you want to help me out? And that's really kind of how it started. And then once people weren't really like building teams or doing branding shoots or having their own studio, makeup artists really were, it was kind of like a side hustle. You went to people's houses, you figured it out. And I really wanted something because I got to do it full time and because I left my stable job, and I'm like, no, I really need it to be professional, have my own space, have a team, have a brand, all the things. And we just like kept growing and growing.
That is so incredible to me, that to have that much growth that fast. That must be terrifying and amazing, like at the same time.
Yes, both feelings at the same time. Extremely terrifying. I knew that I could be successful on my own just because I'd been doing it for so long, and because I had 4 kids, it like was never an option that I wouldn't be successful on my own. But I just didn't know that I could grow a team, that I could keep them busy, that I could I was never really a leader. Like all of a sudden I had to become all of these things. And then people would look up to me or ask me questions about things. And I'm like, I better figure it out.
It's time. I'm on. The stage lights are on.
Yes.
Well, okay. So speaking of stage lights, let's talk about like middle of events, because you've seen it all. You celebs, brides, everything in between. So that means you've seen a lot of things go off the rails. And we love to talk about how things go off the rails and how you keep it together. This is when Libby starts to do her little duck impression. For those of you that are regular,
which I saw
regular
goose
listeners
swimming this weekend over on the islands. And I mean, it was actually quite graceful. It gave me a different view of the goose. Anyway, yeah.
She's kind of anti-geese, just for those of you listening.
Yeah, I usually don't like geese.
I mean,
the shit everywhere. They're the worst.
We really do.
Okay, but so can you give us a moment or two where things went off the rails?
Like, do you have a crazy mom moment?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. 99.9% of the time it's a crazy mom. Sorry, moms, but
like mom of the bride, mom of the is that what you mean?
Mom of the bride. Yeah. So I have a very strict rule. I have 2 stories for you. I have a very strict rule. I do not allow anybody to come to trials with brides because of some mom incidents. So during trials, I was really easy breezy and I would let, moms come and, try to have fun. And before a client could even see themselves in the mirror, they saw their mother's face. And when there's disapproval or like they don't like something or they wanted you to wear your hair up, but you want to wear your hair down. And I went through like a full season of brides like second guessing their look or da-da-da because of their mom's opinion. So then I just made it I'm like, no, you're not allowed in. I'm sorry. We'll send you pictures. We'll FaceTime, but you're not allowed to come. So then last season, this ended up being like my favorite mom of the whole season. She asked me to come and I said, no, sorry. I love you. No. She came anyway. She showed up with her daughter at 9 a.m. and she stood outside the door and she was like, I know you said I can't come, but I know there's a story. Please tell me what the story is and then I'll go. And I was like, okay, you're my kind of human. I like you. Come on in. So
Libby, you would totally do that, Libby. You and I both know you would totally do that.
I just want to know the story. I just want to know the details. Give me the Slack channel discussion. I want to know everything that's happened.
But, I just really appreciated it. I was like, you gave 0 Fs that I told you can't come. You want to know the tea. Like, okay, you can come in and join us. Why not?
That's fine.
Right?
You're going to have your opinion anyway later.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But
Moms.
day of the wedding, I am still traumatized from this. There was a mom who was giving one of my stylists a very hard time. She had really limited hair to work with, like really limited. Short.
Like in length?
Yes.
It's short. Okay,
Like,
it's short.
Or short.
Very
Okay.
short.
And maybe not very thick?
Pixie cut.
Pixie cut.
Pixie cut hair. Okay.
Got it. Okay,
Pixie
okay.
cut would not be an exaggeration. Pixie cut.
It's not what you can do with a
Okay.
pixie cut.
Not a lot.
She kept asking for more volume, more volume. My stylist was trying so hard. She finally came up to me and she was like, I need your help. I can't. She's not liking anything I'm doing. And I was like, don't worry. I stepped in and then I, just really had to educate with a smile. Like, we are trying to give you what you want, but we have limitations, we're like limited on what we can do. And the daughter walked up and she's like, this is the mother of the bride, and you guys aren't leaving until she's satisfied.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm like,
So did you put a wig on her? Like, what happened?
no, at that point, I was like, I've done what we can do. If you want to like run your hand, whatever you want to do that makes you feel like you, go for it. Like, what are you going to do?
People like that, though, it doesn't matter. You'll never make them happy. There are just those people in the world that they'll just never be happy about anything. They just won't.
You are not leaving until she is satisfied.
Yeah. We literally looked at each other like,
Well, first of all, it's like, get real. Like, I am leaving. Sorry, I will be leaving. Because nothing else we can do. But also, that's just, I find people who have that kind of like demeanor with anyone they work with, either like have not worked in the service industry, as in like retail or restaurants or something like that. So you don't understand that when you're in customer service, you don't talk to people like that. Or they're just people, I feel like every job that you have, you are in the service industry, no matter what you're doing. You have a customer.
Yeah.
It might be a different customer than somebody else's, but you have somebody that you're trying to make happy and collaborate with. And you're never going to get anywhere by trying to strong arm someone into doing something that they can't even do, But like coming at that with honey would have been so much better than.
Yeah. You always get more flies with honey. Always, always, every single time.
Yes. I tell my admin team this too, because sometimes, you'll get clients who are just really particular, right? And so I listened to another podcast and they were saying like, sometimes when emotions are really high or you're in a high stakes project or whatever, people create problems that aren't really there. They're like invisible problems. And so sometimes we'll get frantic emails and then my admin team will be like, oh my God, they wrote da 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 da. And I'm like, let's just take a breath.
Let's take a breath.
Let's just read that again. Clearly something happened to set this person in a spiral. We haven't even met them. So it 99.9% has nothing to do with us. Like, let's just calm down here. And I'm 100% of the time right when it comes to that. Like, you just a little honey and people usually will just calm down,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, Donna Bellinger, so she ran the retail store for our family's, my cousin's farm. It's Watermelon Farm in Hermiston, Oregon. Bellinger Farms, plug, best watermelon in the world. You'll find them in the grocery stores and Costco between July and September.
Oh,
yes, the best. You'll see Bellinger Farms on the watermelon palette. So anyway, I was working in the store. I was, 15 or something. So getting paid under the table or legally, it depends on who's listening. I was 16. Anyway, there was a woman who came in, was so rude. I mean, I was very shocked at this woman's attitude. And Donna was so kind to her and really helped her and just like, just did what just didn't let it bother her. When the woman left, she told me her motto, as someone who'd been in banking for a long time and now was running the store, she was like, you never know what kind of a day someone's having. They're probably just having a bad day, or maybe their son died. You never know. So it's not personal. It's not about you. But I clearly always take it personally. So anyway.
It's really hard not to. But working in a pediatric ICU for 8 years really helped put things in perspective for me.
Oh, I bet.
Mhm.
I bet.
And so when people, have like these heightened emotions, I'm like, okay, this is not life and death.
No.
We're good. We could change a lipstick color. Like, it's not that serious,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Have you ever, I have so many questions. My first question is, have you ever had something where like the bride or one of the bridesmaids shows up and like something bad happened, like a spray tan went wrong, or their eyebrows got overly waxed, or their eyelashes fell out, like some kind of situation that was like a situation that you had to fix?
Yes.
That's my first question. And then my second question is, I want to know what you pack that might surprise us. Like, obviously, we know you're going to take your brushes and your makeup and stuff, but I know you're taking other stuff because something's happened and you've learned along the way to pack these other things. So those are my two questions for right now.
Okay. Yes. So funny enough, this has happened to me twice. Grooms have gotten black eyes.
Like at their bachelorette party or what?
No,
Or
like
bachelor party?
Or like horsing around
At the like rehearsal dinner, and then they get too wild and crazy.
And then
boom.
Twice. Wow.
Yep. So I've had to cover black eyes, which if it's not too bad, color correction, it's easy. You really cannot even tell.
And you can filter the photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, not really with the bridesmaids. Nothing tragic has happened with the grooms. Yeah. What is in my kit that would be surprising?
Well, Michelle just did my makeup the other day for the Our Lady of the Lake School auction. I know Elise is not tired of hearing about this yet.
I love to hear about all things school related all the time. Is this the set where you were disco 70s vibe?
It was. It was disco.
She looked great. You looked great.
It was 70s themed. I looked amazing. But I asked Michelle if she would come do some cool eye makeup for me. Surprise to Michelle, when she got there, I had zero makeup on. That shouldn't shock anybody, but I was like, sorry, I'm still diffusing my curly hair. I didn't have time to do anything. She was like, don't worry, I got you. But she brought a chair because it was a tall,
Did
like
you
a
not
bar
think Libby would have
chair.
chairs in her house? She does have a lot of lamps.
No,
I was like, chairs. I've got chairs. But she was like, no, this is the right height. And I don't like to bend over and like, yeah.
So you have a travel chair. Mm-hmm.
Yep, a travel chair. I do bring lighting. Sometimes people are surprised by that. I knew you had good lighting, Libby. That's why I didn't bring light.
We do. We have lots of windows. So yeah.
We have lots of windows. But like, there's some venues that I 100% know I'm going to need my lighting because it's just dark. But yeah, nothing. I don't like to pack a lot, and my kit's already 60 pounds. So I do not like to put anything extra.
60 pounds? Wow.
Yes.
What's your favorite tool in your kit?
A blush brush. I love blush.
What's your can you say a favorite brand or favorite product? Like this is the end all be all of this.
Yeah. If somebody said today, like, you have to empty your kit and you can only have one makeup line, it would 100% be Makeup by Mario.
Makeup by Mario. Okay, let me write this down. I'm always asking Michelle, sending her videos of things I get targeted with all these like busy mom makeup kits. And so I'm always sending them to her. I'm like, what do you think about this? So
that was a good makeup of me. I was like, oh yeah.
Like voice memos and be like, oh yeah, that is actually really good. Or like, do this, but don't do this.
Are you talking about the ones where they come in like a stack and it's like they do everything in this one little stack?
Oh, no, not that one. It's the Jones Beauty, I think.
Oh,
it's like
I use Jones Beauty. I like
There's
Jones
like a bronzer stick and then like a blush and an eye or blush eye or lip.
Their balm is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Makeup by Mario.
Yes, because it's just the style of makeup that I do. I don't really do transformative unless you're going to a 70s auction. Get a little creative, but I really like people to look like themselves. So he does a
It's
beautiful
crazy.
job. Everything he
Wild.
has is just the best.
I have another question. Now, it's obviously not for anyone on this call, but if you had to give tips for, say, aging skin, obviously, again, no one on this
We're
call.
so youthful. We're so hydrated.
What tips would you give for aging skin?
It's mature skin. And I would tell you, I've done your makeup. Your skin is amazing. And skincare, you have got to take care of your skin before a drop of makeup goes on it. Because if you don't, it doesn't look good. So that would be like my number one pro tip. And then use like makeup that is infused with skincare. So It Cosmetics is a really good one. Ilia is really great. You just want to use like a lot of cream products. Things are going to keep your skin feeling like glowy and hydrated and youthful.
Do we have to drink all the water that they say we're supposed to drink? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say this isn't a humble brag, but it kind of is. But I actually have always been blessed with really the like fairly even and hydrated skin, even when I don't take super good care of it. So that is why I never really learned or got very good at putting on makeup, because also I just like didn't have the patience to do it. And I don't think I can't do it very well. So that's the other thing. I was like, it doesn't look good. Just wash it off. So,
well, I also, I think fair skin and blonde and light eyes like you and I, like if you do too much, like you look like a drag queen. And I love drag queens. That's not a knock, but like if you're not a drag queen, you probably don't want to look like a drag queen.
Yeah, it's true. The fair skin, you can't go like, I can't go too crazy.
No.
It's not a 70s auction every day, even though I wish. Okay, so after 2 decades in beauty, I literally can't believe you started doing this when you were 10.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The least thing. Elise loves doing that.
I love that joke. I can never hear that joke enough.
Never gets old. How do you stay inspired and, relevant and like coming back in an industry that truly, I feel like changes faster than TikTok trends, and in an industry that is so full of so many influencers, and people who do rainbows and clouds, and they're all of a sudden like, that's what people
or lip
are doing.
kits
or busy mom makeup hacks,
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like something is like brewing in me that I'm like, I sometimes feel like a creative director. I do a lot of creating. So I do styled shoots. I come up with concepts. I've transformed my studio into a million different things. I'm very just innately creative. And so I think that really plays a huge role in how I stay like, I love a new trend. I love learning new techniques. Today I had 2 brides who were super modern, like editorial vibes. And because of things I was posting, they booked me because they were like, you're just not doing the same. And that is just me, I think, which is why it comes easy. But I have had a lot of conversations with other people, and it is tough. It's not always easy. You have to be intentional about like finding things. This sounds so lame, but truly that like spark joy or will like spark your creativity or that you're interested in, just to stay in that space. Because the worst thing is like stopping being inspired, stop educating yourself. Like I've done this for 20 years. I still take a master class every single year because I want to see I want to know what other people are doing, what they're using, different techniques. And even if I'm not really like learning anything on the makeup side, I'm still learning things because everyone has like a different way of running their business.
I mean, I do have to say, go ahead, Elise.
Outside of the masterclass, where else do you look for inspiration? Like, are you still looking at magazines? Are you like...
I follow like mostly on social media. I follow, just for example, like the Wed or Brides magazine or just different dress designers who I'm obsessed with. And like I'm doing a styled shoot tomorrow that I created the concept, and it's very like were wearing a big oversized blazer and this silky, very simple wedding gown underneath, and just like a different type of dessert that you wouldn't think of that's traditional. Just, I get inspired by like all different areas of the wedding worlds. People are creative. They're doing cool things. Like the dessert that we have tomorrow, it's like this long, it kind of looks like a Lego, like a very long, skinny Lego. And then there's just all this art, like edible flowers, and it has like greens and blush it. It's just, I like things that are different.
People are so creative. I'm not that creative. I'm a little more of I'm a simple gal, but I have to get my creativity from other people's creativity. So
it's infectious.
It is. It is. And I do have to say, your brand is you are always posting new things. You are always sharing stuff. You will share like video tips and like just tips and notes, like for brides, for anyone who's doing any kind of an event or any kind of, styled shoot. And you are very authentic in those. And I think it just makes you feel like a really credible source.
Thanks.
For the hair and beauty tips.
I really want people to land in my inbox or on my website and see things that I've fully created from start to finish. I didn't even know that I really ever cared about that. But once I started doing it, I'm like, oh no, I want it to be my brand voice, my creative, whatever, like from start to finish. And I think I've really been able to create that, which has been cool.
What is something that, we talked earlier about your skin knees and hiring misfires. Like, what's a mistake that you've made? Because you've built this business very fast and it's scaled really big, really fast in a short time. So what's something that was a mistake and it hurt at the moment, but you look back now and you're like, that had to happen so I could level up?
Two things. I hired too fast in both spaces, on my back end and for my team. And so hiring wrong in your back end, that will make a ship sink. So I didn't really have systems in place, and I was learning what that even meant and what my business needed for that. And so I knew that everyone was like, get an assistant, get a virtual assistant, you need help. And I'm like, okay. And then I got one and she's like, what do you want me to do?
Oh, that's so hard to get the stuff out of your head and onto somebody else's plate.
Yes.
Well, and letting go of control. That's hard.
It was horrible. And she didn't know, and I did not set her up for success. And it was just more work than not. And so I was like, okay, this is not going to work out. Let's go our separate ways. And then I had to figure it out. And I did. I have an amazing assistant now. But on the styling side, I was like, I need someone who does beautiful hair and makeup. That was like my number one priority. Wrong. That should not be your number one priority. Customer service should be the number one priority. Everything else is learnable. So you can't teach people how to interact with people. You either have people skills or you don't, in my experience. And I took some hard knocks, some bad reviews, some pushback from a stylist when I'm trying to give feedback and like trying to be a leader. It was a hot mess for a minute. And yeah, so now, honestly, makeup is like the last thing in an interview that I care about. I want to know how you handle people. Like, show me your people skills. And then yeah, we get into me.
I really love that. And I think that's so true. I mean, in the many people I've hired in my life, but people that I work with, even, I just feel like if you like them, if they're a good person, if you get along, if they're, they can be the right kind of person, be super motivated and just up for anything. And, a lot of skills are teachable.
Yes.
But just being like, an agreeable, good person, that is like a harder thing to teach.
It's so hard.
Well, let's flip it to the other side. A segment that we like to talk about here on the show is, it ain't bragging if it's true. What is something that you look back and you're like, damn, I did that. Like, I did that.
Well,
I mean, obviously, besides when you made over me and Libby, obviously, besides
that was a big,
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
career high. It's
It
never going to
was-
get better than that.
I mean, it was a career high. If every day could be like that, if every shoe could be like that, the dream was so good. Honestly, one of the things I'm probably the most proud of is just putting myself out there and the jumping on the Love is Blind train. I think it did
That's right.
wonders for my business that I
Wait,
couldn't
what?
even predict.
Wait, what? What? Hold on. What? Hold on.
Well,
We've
What,
got a
did somebody
celebrity
did
stylist in our
somebody
midst.
bury
I
the
don't know
lead?
if you know about this.
I was just recovering from Saved by the Bell, and now you're telling me you did the
I
makeup
know.
on Love is Blind, Seattle edition. Is that true?
yes.
All of them?
No. So a few of them. Chelsea, Micah, and Bliss.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I just saw Micah's stagecoach outfits from over the weekend.
Oh, were they cute?
Mhm. Yeah, she looked great. She looked great.
I really want to go to Stagecoach in my life before like it's
Wow.
you be
Okay,
there,
so
you know?
damn, you did that. Love is
Yeah.
Blind. But
That is
makeup
really cool.
not. Okay.
Yeah, so I had just opened the studio and I had never seen it. And then my girlfriend was like, "Are you watching Love is Blind? They're doing Love is Blind in Seattle." And so I like kind of did some searching and I'm like, this whole cast is based in Seattle. I'm just going to reach out to all of them. And I did. Every single one.
You just proactively reached out to them?
Yeah. Because I knew they were
Love
going to
that
have
for you.
press. Because they're
Yeah.
having they didn't
Yeah.
have the reunion yet. They didn't have After the Altar. They didn't have any of that filmed yet. And so I knew press was coming. And so I'm like, I'm just going to reach out and tell them any events they have, any photo shoots, anything, like, please come. We'll do your hair and makeup. And Bliss was the first one to take me up on it. She is.
Who's a beautiful person.
She's
She's
beautiful.
so stunning.
Beautiful.
She is.
And they have a baby now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
really
my
cute.
first people
Really cute.
publication.
Oh,
That's right.
that's so cool.
Yeah, their baby announcement, which
First people pub, not the last.
now,
My God, that's so cool.
but
Are
yeah,
you
I
talking
mean,
about when you and I get on the cover, Libby? Is that what you were talking about?
duh.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah.
Because the events podcast goes viral.
It's gonna.
Yeah. Totally is. On YouTube.
Friends are gonna do live shows. I'm gonna be in the
Yep.
front row.
Yeah, and you're going to be there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
You and Burby. We already figured this out.
Yes,
That's really cool. That's really cool.
it was.
So I've heard rumors about Real Housewives of Seattle. Are you trying to hunt that down?
Yes, I have been trying to hunt it down, and I have found no facts.
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true.
Okay, because I feel like I would know some, like 1 degree of
I would totally
separation
know.
from
I would
somebody.
know. I would know somebody. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
It's
yeah, no.
possible. I just don't think it's likely at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Libby. We could keep talking forever, but we do have to wind this down.
We do.
I know. Well, Michelle, where can our many, 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 many readers and Libby fans find you?
You can find me over on Instagram because that's where I perch most of the time at michellewhite.hmu or my website, michellewhite.com.
Love it. Love it. Okay,
No.
I have one more question. Just because we made it all the way to the end, only to find out at the end you worked on Love is Blind. You had a cover on People. You've been behind the scenes on Saved by the Bell. Is there anything else I should know about?
Those were some high points.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you're going to have more. So I want to be the first person to know. Yeah. I
Okay,
want to be
you
the
got
first
it.
person to know. All right. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of Beats Working, Winning the Game of Makeup. Just kidding. Winning the Game of Events. If you have an idea or you want to reach out, please do so. You can email us at info@beatsworking.show. And remember, every detail matters, every moment counts, and no matter what, the show must go on. Thanks for listening to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events, where we explore what it takes to make moments unforgettable.
If you're leaving with a little more inspiration, a little more perspective, and a big side ache from all of the laughing at our funny jokes, then we've done our job.
Beats Working is a Work P2P production. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platforms.
Your support helps us keep the magic going.